Tariffs. They're the big talk that's going on right now everywhere. You're either for them because you're Republican, or you just stay die-heartedly towards Trump, or you're completely against them, freaking out because you're on the opposite side of the spectrum. And either side should be objective about it, whether you're supporting it or not. But because it's something that we're trying that's new, because we need to balance our budgets, we need to approach politics and government and the world stage differently than we have been, we have to be able to take a step back from our emotions and see where this takes us. Because tariffs are a weapon we can use, and they've always been taught as a weapon that we can use economically to either push countries in a direction that we want them to, or use them to stabilize our own economy, or use them to bring back jobs. There's a lot of ways that tariffs can be used, and there are a lot of negative sides, right? The way last week that the market collapsed or crashed, or what words people are using, seemed to make it look like Donald Trump made an absolute mistake. Now, Monday, at the point of which I'm filming this, it looks like the markets are bouncing back, and people that were speculating and worried about what was going to happen because of these tariffs took out all their money. Just trillions left the market. Or I don't want to say trillions, but a huge amount, because the sources say different amounts. So the thing about it here is that we need to do something about what we are doing on the world stage and economically with our country. We have lost a lot of jobs to outside sources. We have been buying outside sources and not supporting our American-made products. And yes, they will cost more, but things already cost more. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, fuel prices were already skyrocketing. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, egg prices were going up. We've been noticing this, and it keeps going up. I mean, since the 70s, inflation has been occurring. What our money can buy now definitely can't even touch what money used to be able to buy. And we need to be able to fix that. And we cannot be taken advantage of by everybody. If all these other countries are levying tariffs against us, we should be able to do the thing back. Because what a lot of people don't realize about our global power is that we have buying power. That is America's power, not just military. Our military power is amazing, but our buying power is what keeps our economy strong. I think partially what people don't realize about the global economy and the strength of the US dollar is that it comes directly from the consuming power that the United States has. And you can go down really cryptic conspiracy theory rabbit holes all the way down to our Social Security numbers being tied to the dollar bills that are printed. But I don't want to go down the tinfoil route right now. There's a lot more going on. And again, the markets right now look like they're stabilizing and they're moving on their way up. What needs to be done is there has to be a different strategy that hasn't been going on within our government. And we're taking that now. And I could speculate and say it's going to be terrible in a week, in a month, in a year. And if I'm a Trump supporter, I can say it's going to be amazing. But the point is not to say that. The point is to be objective. The point is to be open and try new things. And we are trying something. I get it, 401ks dropped. They dropped 5 years ago if you want to look into markets and what was happening. I know people that have had steady jobs working for colleges, and 6 years ago their 401ks drastically dropped, even by 50%. So there's always money just disappearing. That's why certain people have different approaches. They don't keep their money in stocks, in markets, in any sort of speculative finances. The old school way was always keeping your money and keeping it safe underneath your mattress. But you can't do that today because you can't even defend yourself in half the states in the United States anymore. If somebody comes to rob you, you got to basically let them handicap you before you can even do anything. But anyways, back to tariffs. I think this is something we need to try because it could go the right way. I get it. Everybody took a class in college and they either say, oh, what Trump's doing, he's a complete idiot. I don't get it. Maybe, maybe not. The only way we're going to be able to figure this out is try it for a couple of years and look back. I definitely do not believe that the market's just going to completely crash. The forces that we always talk about that run the world behind the curtain that we don't see, they wouldn't let this kind of thing just collapse, because America's buying power, the dollar, still has huge weights in controlling world markets. So they will not let that happen. And if it does, it leads most likely to a world war that most people want anyways. The people that support Ukraine and what's going on there essentially want a global war, because that's what will occur if you constantly be on the offensive with what's happening there. I'm not trying to judge it. I'm saying that is the outcome. And if a complete financial economic crash happens, that's the world's way out. That's always been the world's way out of complete economic bankruptcy, is through war. But I don't think that's what Trump is going for. I don't think that's what this new government is going for. Though the old way seemed like it was, I think the whole goal with these tariffs is to eventually lead towards a way of balancing our budgets, making ourselves financially responsible, auditing what has been going on. It all needs to be done. Whatever got us here wasn't working. Inflation has been out of control. Real estate prices have been out of control. Food prices have been out of control. Oil prices have been out of control. Energy prices in general have been out of control. Hopefully, this can bring the prices down. And I accept if there have to be hard times. You know, personally, if I've ever gotten myself into debt, I knew there was a time I'd have to eat ramen to help balance my own financial budget, to get myself out of debt. I keep myself very financially stable by knowing when to tighten my belt. And maybe we all have to do that for a little bit. Maybe in 2 years we'll realize this isn't working and we do something totally different. But I don't think we need to freak out and just cause ourselves a lot of anxiety and stress socially, because we have immense power in our buying ability that dictates global markets. And the people that probably will feel insane crashes, if they do happen by chance, are those that are always speculating on finances. But they're also the ones taking the risks and know this type of stuff is happening or possibly can happen. I get it. A lot of you hate Trump. That's why you hate these tariffs. That's why you think he's an idiot. Then there's other people that love the tariffs because you think Trump is the second coming. And I don't think either way is helping what's going on here. I think the best way to look at this is we need new financial strategies to get ourselves out of these messes. If we want a strong dollar, if we want a strong economy, a strong country, we have to try different paths to getting back to a balanced budget, to getting jobs back into this country. And yes, tariffs are going to cost me more money. They're going to cost you more money. But if it doesn't work in a year or two, then we change it. But if it works, we're all going to benefit, whether you hate or love Trump.